Hello, I have to remember to look at my screen to let people in. I was
Yes.
looking at my other screen.
Mhm.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm
Mhm.
probably going to blank out for a little bit once we get started so I could eat some lunch, or
Sure.
go grab some lunch, but I'll be back. It's been kind of a hectic morning.
Yeah. Kind of one of those weeks already, it seems like.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon, I thought it was Friday. I was like, that's not good, but
Yeah, this morning when I woke up, I was sure it was Saturday for some reason. Wait, no, we already did that.
yeah.
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 Mhm.
Sometimes the weekends don't exactly feel like a weekend.
No. Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
things are going to be crazy for a little while yet.
Yeah. And Halloween will be a whole different kind of weekend this weekend too. So
Yeah, you have kids, right?
yeah, I have 8-year-old and a almost 4.
Ah,
So they love Halloween, but we're not going to do the trick or treating thing this year because of COVID and the grandparents. So we're
mhm.
going to organize a couple of grandparent house parties. So a little
Oh,
more
look.
work for the parents, but should be fun
Fun.
for them.
Yeah. Is there candy involved?
Yep, candy, and we're going to decorate a hallway, kind of make it scary, and then have family members behind each door so they can kind of trick or treat down a hallway with strobe lights and stuff
Huh?
going. That's
Oh, that sounds fun.
kind of fun. Yeah.
That sounds better than trick or treating.
Yeah. Yeah. Some bobbing for apples, and grandma always makes fun treats. So
Although Jacksonville, it kind of trick or treating there seems like a big deal.
yeah, and in fact they aren't doing their big the last few years they've done the big Halloween kind of tours where you can go all around to they give you a map where they have actually guided tours, and they had a lot of the historic homes set up with Halloween displays, and then as you drive by they'd even have people sitting on the porch or something in costume. So pretty neat stuff, but they're not doing that this year, so hopefully next year.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, we had to move out of our house for a month because we had a leak here, and we stayed in Jacksonville right now, during this period. So we were there
Mhm.
during Halloween, and
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
we were just like, wow, there's so many people here. But
Mhm.
it seemed like such a big city to us compared to Applegate.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's like kids out for hours and hours. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some will still do it. It just kind of depends on your situation or your safety threshold and all of that. So
Yeah, it's probably better not.
yeah, not really worth it. I mean, we kind of steal the candy from them anyway at the end of the night. That what do they call it? The switch witch is kind of the new term now. So you switch their candy out for some kind of toy or something. So the switch witch
Oh,
comes at night and she takes the bag of candy and leaves something else. So yeah.
oh, wow. Never heard of that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's clever.
Mhm.
I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to try to see if we could make our bag of candy last until the next Halloween.
Oh, there you go. That's
So
a good
yeah, yeah.
motivation.
So we usually make it at least till July, but
That's
all
pretty
the way
good.
to Halloween was a little challenging. But
Mhm.
but
Yep.
that kept you from eating the whole bag in 1 week or something.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember as a kid eating too many candy corns one year, and it was just I can't even look at them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the same thing to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what time? Well, it's still, I don't know. Do you want to wait a couple of minutes or you want to start or?
I could probably just start since it's being recorded. Seems like people usually show up a few minutes late if they do. So
Okay, let me make you the host here. And you're good.
okay. Where is it? Pull it up first. There we go. Alrighty. Well, thanks for showing up today. My name is Laurel Briggs, and this is the 7th in an 8-part webinar series sponsored by Applegate. And today we are going to be talking about the power of reviews. So a question: when thinking about purchasing a new product, who would you trust more? A salesperson who profits directly from the purchase like yours, or a customer who has an experience with the product you're considering and can give you an honest review about it? I would probably pick the latter, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. Did you know that only 3% of consumers consider salespeople and marketers trustworthy? So, where do you think your customers turn for the truth about your products and services? Most likely they're looking at customer reviews. People consult reviews and testimonials to determine whether or not they trust a product, a service, or even a seller. In fact, buyers read 7 reviews on average before deciding to actually trust a business. So what exactly is a customer review? A customer review is a written reflection of a customer's experience with and feedback on your company's products or services. Reviews are found on sites such as Google, Amazon, Yelp, and now even social media. Consumers use these reviews during the purchasing process to understand how the product works and if it's worth the investment. Most everyone can publish a review online, and these reviews can contain good information. Sometimes they have negative experiences, and sometimes even fake content about your business. So we'll talk a little bit today about how to address and deal with each of these. Since they're posted on third-party sites and from real users of your products, consumers view these reviews as a reliable source of information. In fact, customers find online reviews to be so helpful that 85% of consumers trust them as much as a personal recommendation or referral. So they're kind of a big deal. So we'll talk about a few of the review sites out there on the web that are most widely used. So there are many sites in which consumers can leave reviews. So we'll dive into the 2 that are the most popular right now, which are Google reviews, which is part of the Google My Business program, and also Yelp. So Google My Business Reviews, which is often called Google Reviews, is currently the most commonly used platform for consumer reviews. And this is because, well, it's Google, and Google has the biggest market share. All types of businesses can be reviewed easily on a 5-star scale. So what you need to do in order to accept Google reviews for your business is actually set up a Google My Business profile. With the help of Google My Business, anyone can create a presence for their company so that it can be found on online Google search. So this is sort of like the yellow pages of Google. To receive a Google review, you just have to complete a My Business profile. And once you set up your business profile on Google, it's exceptionally easy for people to find that and review your product or service. So once you set it up, you'll need to create a review link so that customers can write about their experiences or give you a rating based on that 5-star scale. They can also write a comment along with the scaling system. So you just want to make sure that you have both a link to your reviews that consumers can find through the Google search, as well as a link using the Place ID lookup tool. With this, consumers can write a review by simply looking up your company on Google or searching for your location on Google Maps. You can also place this link on your website or in emails, and other methods we'll talk about a little later. So just as a consumer, in case someone asks you how they leave a Google review, here's a little information on how you can do that. So if you're the reviewer and you're hoping to leave information about your experience on Google, all you need to do is provide your first and last name. Google does not allow any reviewer to remain anonymous. Anyone can see your name along with your review, as well as other reviews you've left and photos you've added to Google Maps. So you do have to register a Google account in order to do this, and this will be tied to an email address. And this is the way that Google knows that you're a real user versus a company potentially padding their site with reviews. If you have a Google account already, you also have an About Me page that Google My Business will link to related to your reviews. So this keeps things pretty honest in the world of reviews. So a little bit about how you as a company might want to respond to Google reviews. You may be asking yourself, what if someone still decides to leave a fake review about my company? You often see this happen with disgruntled employees. Or what if I want to respond to a positive or negative review? So Google helps you do all of this. Responding to reviews is pretty straightforward. You can just go find the original review you want to respond to, and there is a respond button. You do have to be signed into your Google account in order to do this, and it must be the Google account that actually has the Google My Business page in it. And something to note is that you cannot remove any review that has been posted. Google will remove reviews that do not meet the requirements of what they call their user contributed content policy. You can Google that and find a detailed list. But some of the reasons that a review might be removed is because it includes hate speech, fake comments, spam, illegal information, a conflict of interest, and other items you can find in the document. If you notice something Google doesn't, you can also flag a particular review, and they will check the content and remove it if they deem so necessary. If they don't, really the best thing to do is to address it directly. So how do you optimize your Google My Business profile, since this is going to be linked to all of your reviews? So here's some ideas for optimizing your Google My Business profile that hopefully will help you get more reviews and positive interactions. So you'll want to complete all the information on your Google My Business profile. Otherwise, consumers can actually go in and suggest their own edits. Google will actually prompt them for this information. So they can go live, some of these changes, without a notification or update to you. So it's a good idea to monitor that regularly and make sure that nothing has changed without your permission. And the information that's on there is more related to your category of business, your hours that you're open, and that sort of thing. So it is good to keep that updated, especially if you're changing that information frequently. You'll also want to create a Google My Business post. And these are kind of like little mini advertisements within your Google profile that give people an idea of what you sell or what services you provide. If you provide services, you can also add a booking button so they can schedule an appointment or meet with you efficiently. A lot of people are using this even if they only offer, say, a free consultation. You can use programs like Calendarly that are free, that you can actually set up your schedule and create a link to allow people to sign up for a consultation with you. Ethically, you want to ask for reviews from your customers. So it's really not good practice just to ask your friends to write a great review about you and have it on your site, because if a consumer actually finds this out, you could really put a dent in your credibility factor. So you also want to engage with consumers and reviewers under the question and answer section that they provide. So this is a good spot to express gratitude for compliments and thoughtfully respond to those who had a poor experience. Also, reviewers can add photos and videos of your office, your store or restaurant, or your product. This also adds a personal touch to the reviews, and it makes the reviews even more credible when people see those in action. Also, you can add your services or your menu to the profile. And this is a great place to put information like that, because you don't want to lose a potential customer because they can't locate your prices or services fast enough. I can't say how many times I've looked for a restaurant menu and can't find it. So it's a great place to have that in multiple places. And this is one of those places you can do that. Another thing to note about the Google My Business profile is that it's completely free. So none of this costs anything. It's just the time to put it together. Due to the popularity of Google reviews for consumers and the importance of actually ranking on Google Business, this is an exceptionally powerful and important tool for every company. So the next thing we'll talk about is Yelp. So another popular review site is Yelp. Yelp can be used for reviewing any kind of business or service. Consumers can write reviews and rate their experience on a 5-star scale, similar to Google Business reviews. A unique feature of Yelp is that the website instructs companies on how to use both positive and negative reviews to their advantage and respond to these reviews. The way you react to a review or rating can make or break your business, which is why the training that Yelp provides is really a great bonus. They've got a lot of literature on there. So if you have the time, it can really be worth your while to go check it out before you dive into managing reviews. So a few of the highlights. Yelp makes it really easy to respond to consumer reviews. You can just go to the original comment, much like Google, and write response. Keep in mind, however, that putting your profile on a customer review site means not everyone is probably going to be telling a happy tale about your company. If you get a positive review, that's great. A lot of people actually seek out these kind of sites only when they have a negative experience. So it's really good to address those and also really try to promote happy customers to also leave reviews. But whether or not you agree with what the person wrote, the way you react to the criticism really says a lot about your company's value and character. So remaining positive towards all reviewers and ask for more detailed feedback if you need it, no matter how frustrated you might be that the review is viewable to other customers, is important. So how do you go about asking your customers, especially the happy ones, for a consumer review? So here's a few ways you can do that. One, you could just bring it up naturally in conversation as you're talking about a product. If you're talking about your business with someone, or if they tell you how they feel about your products or services, you can just ask them if they'd be willing to write a review. You can ask in response to praise. So when someone tells you how much they love your product or purchase or experience, whether it's in store or over the phone or online, you can ask them to share that information in a review and make it real easy for them to do that by providing a link to your business review page. You can have a prepackaged email set up that you can just copy and paste that has each one of the, say, logos to your review sites with a link over to your particular link. You could also prepare a little business card size card that explains how a customer could go, and you can include that in your purchase bags. And then also on your website itself, especially if you have a page that lists your reviews, you can also add the icons to the review sites and invite people to place additional reviews. You can also send out an e-blast to your existing customer list. So if your company has one, you can send out a message that asks for some honest feedback, provide email recipients with easy to follow instructions on how they can make those reviews. And since the reviews are not anonymous, you always provide reviewers with a reward of some kind to say thank you. You can request a post-purchase review. This is really popular with e-commerce sites. After a customer makes a purchase, you can ask them for feedback. Stores do this all the time. You see a prompt to write a review or provide feedback, often at the bottom of your sales receipts. You can also, if you use one of the e-commerce sites we've talked about prior, some of them have automated review emails that can be triggered on a set period of time after they've purchased a product. You can also include in that email potentially a coupon code that just thanks them for potentially leaving a review. So I also want to talk a little bit about testimonials because they're very similar to reviews and really equally as important. So testimonials are unique, but they should always be relatable, sincere, and specific. This is one of the factors of how your company really builds credibility. So customers tend to trust other customers, and that's why it's so important to have powerful testimonials that include buyers who can honestly promote your brand from their own words. Your testimonials can include impactful and positive quotes from consumers, a photo of the person who provided the testimonial, or a video of the person relating their experience. These techniques make your potential customers feel as though they can really trust your company. It's important to remember that each buyer is unique, and your testimonial should speak to each of your buyers' personas. Every testimonial should highlight different types of people using your products or services in specific ways that meet their needs. This is because buyers want to know how people similar to themselves are using their product. So if you have a product that's used by a big variety of people for different uses, it's great to try and seek out many different customers that have different experiences and include all those variations. You can also create a case study highlighting a customer story and obtain a testimonial during the process. This is great for big industry jobs, contractors, and that kind of thing, especially where you can get some great photos, especially if they're before and after. So a little more on how you can ask for testimonials. It's similar to reviews, but a little bit different. You want to ask immediately after the job, purchase, or service is done. Ask for testimonials when they've recently gotten something from you. You want the information they give in their testimonial to be really fresh and accurate and specific. And usually they can recall that information a lot quicker when it's just been completed. You want to showcase the whole experience. So it's always great having a customer testimonial on your site that has information about their end-to-end experience. So this shows customers how their product or service has resolved a challenge that another individual was experiencing. So the more complete the story, the more impactful it might be. You can also ask again. So if you asked for a review and didn't get one, you can also set up reminders to actually ask again in another couple weeks. There's no harm in sending a friendly follow-up for email if they would like to share their experience. Who knows, maybe their purchase made a positive impact on their life in the last couple weeks, and now they're excited to tell others about it. Maybe they were really busy or had other things going on. So it doesn't hurt to send people reminders. Make it easy. So tell your customers exactly how they can leave a testimonial, whether it's written or in video format. Another thing I've done in the past is actually create a form on my website that I can just include as a link that I can send directly to a client, so they can just click the link and fill it out at their leisure. And that works well when you're just targeting testimonials to add to your website or other content like that. Give customers guidelines on what they should include in their testimonial as well. And another thing you can do is, if you do have Google reviews, Facebook or Yelp reviews, you can also take those reviews and add them to your website, since they were made and are publicly available. So a few notes on video testimonials. So video testimonials are a highly personal way of promoting your brand. When customers actually see and hear other customers talk about their positive experience, it's significantly more compelling than just reading the words on a page. And in fact, 89% of marketers in a study I read said that video testimonials are the most effective content marketing tactic. So that's a pretty impressive number. You can also ask a customer to create a video testimonial the same way you would ask them to create another kind of testimonial. However, since you are putting them on screen, you'll probably need to consider a few other aspects. Would you need to travel or hire a company to film the testimonial? Do you have the resources in-house to produce it yourself? Depending on the intended use of the testimonial, there's a popular treatment now of about a 30-second to 2-minute video production that really explains about your company. A lot of people call it a beauty piece. So that's a great place to actually include customer testimonials. So if you're working on a project like that or considering it, it would probably be great to have some really high quality testimonials or reviews done in that work. But that requires a little bit higher level of production. You want to make it really easy as possible for your customers to say good things about your business. By controlling the production, you'll be able to ensure the quality of the video and prompt them to get the footage you'll need to help build trust with your prospects. So in this method, you could retake it a number of times if it wasn't exactly what you were looking for. However, this can be a big resource commitment, and there may or may not be the budget for this all the time. So there are other tools out there that can help create professional video testimonials on a budget. There's some apps that require a subscription that you could cancel, sign up for and cancel potentially. And a few of those are Bravo and NIMB. And these allow users to record testimonials with a web camera on their computer, or actually even just their smartphone, and send them to you in a way that you can get them up on your site really efficiently. Video files are usually large, so using some of these kind of services make it really quick and easy. And especially if your potential reviewer is not very tech savvy, they make it a lot easier than trying to figure out how to send even the video file from their phone to you. So consumer reviews and testimonials, how do these fit in your overall marketing plan and sales process? So a positive review or a powerful testimonial has the potential to potentially convert a customer, a lead that you've received, into a customer. So with both reviews and testimonials, you can answer a customer's questions and show them how other people like them have used your product or service. By using these reviews, you're putting your customers first and by showing how others have gotten value out of your products or service. It's no longer a pitch, it's a conversation, since they're hearing it from others. Testimonials give consumers important information without sounding salesy, and give potential customers the opportunity to do their own research and due diligence about your product. It makes the biggest impact on potential customers showcasing all of your testimonials in one easy to find location. So this could be, say, a landing page on your website. You can also have a testimonial page on your website and then intersperse other individual testimonials on other pages on your site. Especially if you have multitude of services or products, it's great to include very specific testimonials on those pages as well. So review details. So typically the average online review consists of several different components. Typically there's some kind of star rating, but not always. It often offers custom product feedback, such as questions or answers from purchasers. It has visual content sometimes, which includes images and videos shared from purchasers. And often it also can include feedback on what the pros and cons and best uses of your products are. And that becomes very interesting in a way we'll talk about here in a second. It also could include size and fit information from purchases. So what that kind of information can do is almost create a little mini research campaign for you and your business. So here's an example of a compilation from a company called Power Reviews of how they have ported in all of the data from their reviews and come up with some really interesting information about their product. So they can see how, most of the reviews are in the 4 or 5 star rating, which is good. They find out certain things about their product, like they're hearing a lot that it smells and tastes great, that it's soothing and effective, that it's healing, but not a lot of people have said it's long lasting. And then some of the cons they found are that it's not long lasting. So that really helps out with the pro argument, that it might have not the best taste or is greasy. So a lot of that information, as you start seeing themes come out of your reviews, can really give you a lot of great information about what people think about your products or services. And then down below, you often see, especially in the Amazon world, if you ever list products there, they often show some of your best review, and then they put it next to some of a negative review. So another thing to note is that in general, product reviews actually increase traffic. And this is really interesting because as we talk about search engine optimization, one of the things that Google looks at is the content on your website and also how many other websites are pointing to you. It also gives a lot of relevancy to the information that's included in your Google reviews. So as we've talked about before, if you are pushing your Google products online through Google Shopping, they'll actually show up in search results along with your reviews here. So data from Power Reviews report mapping the path to purchase, which was a study that they did, discovered that 35% of consumers begin their purchasing journey on a search engine. So they're Googling something. In this case of the example that I'm showing, it was best spring jackets. So if they're not within the first few positions of those search results, you're probably missing out on a lot of traffic. That's where the Google product reviews come in. So Google actually indexes, meaning it crawls all of the information of those reviews and adds them to their search results. So it indexes the reviews, which means that the algorithm reads your product's reviews and makes them searchable and visible. So by getting more product reviews, you're actually increasing the number of keywords where your product can rank on Google. So that's a really good reason to try and push people to leave Google reviews above any other kind of review. People are often not likely to actually leave reviews on all of the sites that you potentially have a review source from. So if they were to pick one, picking Google is probably a really good investment. So review a little more about reviews and site traffic. There are especially relevant keywords as they consist of consumer language instead of marketing copy. So when you think of things like we wrote before, best spring jackets, search results will show up very specific products with reviews and links directly to the product page. Over here, you see examples like the example Lush. It shows the overall reviews for the product in the organic search result. For example, the Power Reviews customer Lush ranks in search for a popular keyword about shower scrubs thanks to the customer reviews. So they're actually getting multiple benefits of using the Google review. And Google, when they index it, as the arrow shows down here, will actually pull in the rating for each product in that search result as well. So interestingly enough, studies have shown that companies have seen as much of a 239% lift in impressions to products pages with at least one review compared to none when it comes to Google reviews. So if you are selling products online, this is a really good potential investment for you. The other thing that product reviews can do is actually increase your conversion rate. So what that means essentially is converting potential lookers into actual sales online. So as customers continue to look online when purchasing more high consideration products, it's important to reduce the barriers to conversion. So imagine that you're making a big purchase online, something like a mattress, a fairly expensive item. However, you don't have the opportunity then to actually go in and feel the mattress in person, or perhaps the type of mattress you want isn't in your local stores. Or today with COVID, there's a lot of less people going out and shopping in stores like this. So the question becomes, since it's a mattress, is it too soft? Is it too hard? Is it just right? And of course, this varies for each person, but people start to really rely on those product reviews to ease customer purchasing decision barriers by providing your customers with key insights that will allow them to buy confidently. So you spend almost a third of your life in your bed. We doubt you'd buy a new mattress without any reviews at all, recommendations or tips from advertisements. So bigger purchases like this, people tend to do a lot of research. Of course, in the car market and that kind of thing, you see this as well. But having more reviews on there are probably going to end up suiting you better. So product reviews, as we started to hint upon, really create better products as a whole. So to continue with the mattress example, let's imagine that users who are ordering your beds are frequently leaving reviews commenting on an odd chemical smell that came from the box. So maybe you have a significant amount of reviews saying there's poor edge support for the materials or that it rips easily. While it's nearly impossible and quite expensive to try to be perfect with all of your products, there's cues your brand can take from review content that will allow you to make overall improvements to your products or services. The problem is digging through the vast amount of product reviews takes up a lot of manpower and time. So it does, depending on how big your company is, it will take some time to actually look through all the reviews and sort out some of those themes. So what I like to do in this case is to, if you can pull up all the reviews, perhaps even copy them down to something like a Word document. And then you can start kind of sifting through and highlighting different phrases that you start to hear repetitively as you read through. And these could be positive, these could be negative. And then you can start building a list of terms. And what becomes really interesting as well is with the positive terms and phrases that you start hearing, these are really great indicators of perhaps what you should be leading with in some of your marketing messages. So if you think your product really accelerates at one thing and your customers really start talking about a secondary aspect of it, it really helps that you start using the marketing language that your customers are using, because more than likely that's going to resonate with a larger audience. And then an interesting note is that sometimes negative reviews can actually help you. It may come as a surprise, but we've actually seen this increase online sales. In fact, 82% of consumers specifically will seek out negative reviews when shopping for a product. As strange as it may seem, shoppers say that poor reviews give balance to their shopping experience, stating that a negative perspective was either very important or important factor in influencing their buying decision. So you'll see this a lot on big sites such as Amazon. And if you only see nothing but positive reviews, especially if the reviews don't have a lot of detail, consumers are actually becoming a little bit leery of the credibility of some of those reviews. So actually hearing a couple negative, even though say 98% of the people were happy with the product, but 2 people complained, can actually show that probably the 98% are actually fairly accurate, and perhaps there was a defect in the product or an extremely picky person with the other 2%. But psychology-wise, it does start to make sense. So if you don't have a lot of reviews already, certainly you can use some of the techniques that we talked about before that start asking your customers for reviews through a variety of different methods. But another idea might be to actually start a sampling program. So if you don't have many recent customers to look to, it's hard to generate that new content. This is even true for some of the big brands and retailers that launch a new product, and it takes time to generate that buzz or review content. So if you run a sampling campaign, it can be the best way to generate content when you don't have it. So if you reach out to sampling communities filled with everyday micro-influencers to write an authentic feedback about your product. So there's a tool out there, and this is just an example of one, called Biz Agent. And it allows a brand to reach out to a big group of people wanting to provide visuals and reviews. So these folks, you basically send your product to them and they share their experiences across social channels, all for that free sample. And the benefit of that as well is that a lot of the people involved in these companies are influencers. So they have a lot of followers, a lot of friends, a lot of people tied to them already. So if they did like your product and they talk about it, you're actually going to reach a really big audience. So it's an interesting marketing tactic that's emerged in the last few years. So this helps build interest for your products and generate high quality reviews quickly by using a company like that and their influencers. Another thing that you can do is that if you do receive reviews, you can also design and share them. So you don't have to leave them in their native form. You can actually use some of those pictures and comments and graphically make it look a little more interesting. So here's an example of a little graphic card that could be used as a Facebook or Instagram post. So more than anything, customers just want a platform to express their feedback and know that they've been heard. That may be the only thing they need in return for their review. So if you don't recognize that need, you could potentially miss out on valuable reviews. In the report we had been talking about, it found that 55% of consumers who don't write reviews said that they needed some kind of recognition or reward in order to actually do that. So, one of the easiest ways to show users you're recognizing their contributions is to share their reviews on social media. Either directly share their quote while making sure to give them credit, or simply reposting a positive experience from their eyes. Yeah, so that's the end of what I was going to talk about today. Uh, Looks like if you're watching this post webinar, feel free to always get a hold of me via email or phone, and I'd be sure to answer any questions you might have related to reviews. All right, thanks so much. Hope to see you next week. We have our last webinar in the 8-part series on cooperative and affiliate marketing. Thanks so much. Bye.